We had to hunt her down, finally found her in Korea. And so I think that if mom is given custody of this kid, she's never going to let dad have this kid.
That bothers me. It also bothers me with her, with the lack of visitation. But it really bothers me when I see a child being used to get back at the other parent.
It's your favorite case, Judge.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. All right, so hopefully Mr. Glass has some data. We'll see.
And in your honor, the custodial parent, Ms. Johnson, is present.
Okay, well, that's the data I needed. All right, thank you.
So the state understands that at one point there was a final hearing in this case. So basically, your honor, now that we're all here, Ms. Johnson, Mr. Graham, Mr. Graham's attorney, Mr. Tisdale, and the attorney ad litem, Mr. Glass, that, your honor, you could do your rulings for it. And so we have a temporary order that was done back in signed back in February 29, 2024, but it reserves most of the things, like non-disclosure, retroactive support, conservatorship, court costs, and then also the child support findings, but not the current child support. Current child support is set at $650 each month beginning the first day of November 2023. That's about all I know, your honor.
And your honor, that's correct. One thing that the AG needs to do, unless the court does go ahead and enter a final order, the AG system automatically drops temporary orders after a year. My client has stated that he received a refund from the Office of the Attorney General for 2 months of child support just recently. When he tried to repay that directly through their website, it would not allow him to do so. So he's got a check for $1,300 that presumably belongs to mom from the AG's office because of the way their system is set up.
That's news to me. I never heard of that before. So, because we've had
not-
temporary orders go on a lot longer than 12 months.
Yeah, after temporary orders have been on their system for 12 months, that just drops off their system and withholding and everything stops. And so, not the first time we've run into that. My client just informed me of that this morning, that it had happened to him. But what the state has said as far as whether or not we've had a final hearing, I would agree with that. We did have a final hearing. The mother defaulted. I understand the court's hesitancy in entering a ruling, what we were asking for without her appearing. She is here today, so we would ask the court to go ahead and enter an order. And so that's kind of where we're at.
All right, Mr. Glass.
I have nothing to add, your honor. I've found the mother and she is present.
All right, Ms. Johnson, here's the deal. They're asking for you've missed several hearings. You hadn't shown up. Notice was sent to the proper channels, and now you're here today. And our understanding is that you're obviously no longer in Korea, but you're in Germany, and that's a back-to-back overseas assignment, which is kind of unusual. Well, I'm sorry, very unusual. And the father in this matter was asking me to give him custody based on the fact that you weren't cooperating and not showing up. So here's the deal, ma'am. It's your chance to give the court an opening statement, and because you're not an officer of the court, I'll have to swear you in and get that opening statement under oath, ma'am. So, here's going to be your chance to tell the court what the heck's going on. So you need to mute yourself. If you got video, ma'am, you can turn it on. But again, coming from overseas, that might be problematic.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony or information you give this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then, ma'am. Here's your chance.
Well, so I left Korea in November of last year. Once I got my orders to come to Germany, I did notify Mr. Graham that I was coming on Christmas to Germany. So I was telling him that, yes, Sunday is his visitation and we'll continue that, but the hours will change because of the hour difference from where he's at in Hawaii. So he's been getting his visits, but I went on orders for training last month. So it was 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks where phone calls got interrupted. And I didn't get notice of that. It was less than 2 weeks I got notice to go to training. So I went to training, came back and continued the calls with him. So my take is there is really no conversation when it comes to us, no communication. So I believe we need to be taking some type of parenting classes.
All right, ma'am, here's, I had a hearing on the 10th day of okay, was that last year? Okay, so it was last year, never mind. 2024. Okay. All right, and when you said you got your orders?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
You got your orders for Germany?
I received my orders 10 days prior to leaving Korea. So I will have to check on it because I believe I left.
The approximation will be fine for right now.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Approximation of that time, ma'am. You said it was you got that last year?
So last year, I got the orders around I believe the 1st of November, if I'm not mistaken. And I was to clear and leave by, I believe, the 15th or less. I forget the date. I would have to go inside my documents.
All right, ma'am. Did you request of the United States military transfer to another foreign site, or did you do this, or is this something they did?
So my plan was, Your Honor, was to stay in Korea. I got approved to stay in Korea. And then I switched units. Once I switched units, I got put on order because I would have had to do the request all over again since I transferred units.
All right. I'll ask Mr. Glass, do you have any questions of Ms. Johnson?
Couple, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Johnson, you said something about missing, about your son missing phone calls with his father because you were doing some field training. Is that right?
Yes, I went to training. Yes, he missed maybe 5, I believe, calls, but I told him, like, I got last minute notice of the training. So once I was to leave, I messaged Mr. Graham and told him what was about to go on. And my plan was to continue the calls, but I had phone issues and I had to buy a new phone and I could not get back into my email to download the what is it called? This app all over again. So I had communication problems.
Where did your son stay while you were training?
He stayed inside of our home, sir.
Was there an adult present?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
It was a friend of the family I had to get help from. She flew here to assist to make sure my kids were able to still attend their schooling and keep everything normal.
Yeah. Do you refer to this person just as friend of the family, or does this person have a name?
She has a name. Addie Fosu is her name, sir.
Pardon, can you say it again?
Her name is Addie Fosu.
Does Addie Fosu have a phone?
She does. She has a German phone.
And did you talk to Addie Fosu about helping about getting your son and Mr. Graham their scheduled electronic visitation? Did you understand my question, ma'am?
Can you repeat it?
Why didn't you just have Ms. Fosu continue with the electronic communication?
I did not think about downloading the app on her phone.
The other question that I have is, you were going to do back-to-back assignments in Korea, is that right?
Yes, I was supposed to stay in Korea for until my daughter finishes, well, until she graduates high school, sir.
Okay. And so that was approved, you requested that and that was approved by your command. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Pass.
All right, ma'am. And how long is your tour supposed to be in Germany?
My tour here in Germany is going to be 3 years, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, then, Mr. Tisdale, questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. So, ma'am, when you changed units, was that voluntarily?
It was not, sir.
So you were ordered to change units?
Yes. So in my position, I was the only one. And when it comes to being stabilized in a country, they want you to get experience elsewhere instead of staying in the same area. And yeah, I was gonna, well, I switched to get a different position, sir.
So you voluntarily switched?
I did not, sir. They switched me because if you stabilize, well, since I stabilized, I switched positions. Like I had to do a switch of positions, which meant a switch in a unit to get, I guess, a different environment, if you would say.
Oh, I understand. I understand needing to switch to advance your career, but that was voluntary, wasn't it?
No, it was not voluntary, sir.
Okay. And
I,
so
I did not know.
so it is your testimony that even though you were on an overseas deployment or assignment to South Korea, that the Army ordered you to another 3-year assignment overseas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that normal? Is that go against normal process or procedure or regulations for overseas assignments for soldiers?
I'm unsure of that, but I know it's when it comes to the Army, I can go with my MOS where we can go anywhere. So they'll just pick wherever you go.
All right, ma'am. What is your MOS?
92 Alpha, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, and in plain English, that is.
Logistics, Your Honor.
All right, and that was your MOS the whole time, the entire time you're in Korea, and is MOS now?
In my entire career in the Army, yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may proceed with the next question, Mr. Tisdale.
Thank you, Your Honor. And ma'am, how old is your child now?
He is 3 years old, sir.
Okay. And when did you get notice? Well, you said that you found out 10 days before you were going to Germany?
Yes, I got the paperwork 10 days before. Like in my it's like a system online, your STP. I saw that I was, how can you say it? It said where I'm going next. And 10 days before leaving, they gave me paperwork saying that I was about to leave and I had to rush the process of getting everything done.
Okay. So it's your testimony the Army only gave you 10 days notice that you were moving across the world.
Well, I saw it proactive in the system saying where I was going. And I got my paperwork 10 days.
When did you?
Okay, go ahead. How soon before you got the paperwork, ma'am, did you know where you were going?
Less than a month, Your Honor.
You may proceed with your next question, Mr. Tisdale.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you found out a month before, not 10 days.
Well, yes, I saw it in the system about a month. Like it was less, but I'm just gonna say a month, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. And so I think you testified earlier that was around Christmas time is when you moved?
Christmas time is when I arrived in Germany, Your Honor. I mean, sir.
When did you leave Korea?
November, I think it was the 15th.
So you left Korea November 15th. Where did you go on November 15th?
I went to Thailand
How long were you in Thailand?
until Christmas.
You were in Thailand for over a month.
Yes, yes, sir.
And at this point, you knew you were going to Germany then.
Yes,
Okay.
I was on
And
leave.
so you were on leave in Thailand for over a month.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And were your children with you during that time?
Yes, sir.
So your oldest child that's in high school was not in high school in
She's-
Korea?
She is in middle school right now. She's in her last year of middle school.
Okay. So was she in school in November?
So up until, okay, the day before we left Korea is the day we withdrew. And she got an expedited transfer, which meant she had to complete all her schoolwork before leaving. So she was able to complete all assignments.
Okay. And when you got to Germany around Christmas time, you said that it was about a week or two later that you went on training.
I didn't go on training a week after. No, I did not go on. I went to training. Let me see the March 1st is when I flew out.
Okay. So you were in Germany for about 3 months before you went to training.
Yeah, almost 3 months.
Okay. And
There's nothing called training.
during your training, you testified that this child stayed in his home with a friend of the family.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What email do you use for court notices?
Okay, let's not get
The
that
email
on
I
the.
used.
Here, stop. We're on YouTube. I'll let y'all get that out after we get back in the break.
Sorry, Joe. I can rephrase the question.
Okay.
The email that you use for the notices for court, is it accessible through an online portal?
It is, sir.
Okay. Were you using your email from Christmas until your training in March?
Was I using? Yes,
Okay. And so did you receive the notices from the court stating that there were hearings?
I didn't see anything about hearings during the time of training.
Did you receive any kind of notices once you got to Germany about any kind of hearings, whether you were in training or not?
I received a notice a few days ago about this hearing.
But it's your testimony you didn't receive any notices, even though it's the same email.
No, I didn't, because the issue was my storage in Google was backdated, so nothing got pushed out.
And did you notify the court that you were having difficulties with your notifications or with your emails?
I did not.
Did you notify the court that your address had changed?
I did not. I notified Mr. Graham.
You notified him that you moved to Germany, but nothing else, correct?
About what, training?
You didn't give him an address, correct? You just told him you were moving to Germany, correct?
No, I didn't give him an address. I gave him the base.
Okay. So you did not notify him that of your new address, correct?
I did not.
Okay.
Which space are you stationed in now, ma'am?
I'm in Baumholder, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Welch.
No question from the state, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glass.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, then, ma'am, I'll let you, in a narrative, tell the court anything else you think I need to know, based on, you see where we were going with this. We're trying, the information we were trying to get. Is there anything else you think we need to know, ma'am, that didn't come out in your general in this general questioning that we just did?
Well, as I stated before, I believe communication is bad all around. Even when it comes to the bare minimum, and we just don't talk. And I know it stems from everything that transpired since I left his house when our son was a month old. So my best bet is we probably gonna need some parenting classes, because of course this is the first time with us dealing with this kind of situation. Just like I'm just hearing that, I've been handling financially everything by myself. So I'm just hearing that he had issues with anything. So that wasn't relayed to me until someone just said it here online. So I was wondering what was going on, but no one said anything. So, and I just left it alone and been handling everything. Even coming back from training, I made sure to keep on with the calls and everything, even though those are still difficult. I make it my business every Sunday to make sure that our son contacts his dad. It's a difficult situation where the lack of talking on their end, but I guess we're
So I get
fine.
that, Nevin. All right, how many visits has the father had with the child? I'm sorry, on the phone since y'all gotten the since y'all got since March of this year.
Since March.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Mm,
Obviously, there weren't not any when you were in training or you were out in training, and the other person.
and I returned the evening of the 10th
10th of what?
of March, and then the Sundays after that, every Sunday he's been getting his visit.
Okay, so it's your testimony today that every Sunday after you returned in March 10th, Dad received his FaceTime visit student app close, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Even though things are bad and he hasn't been doing anything financially, I still made sure that he got his visits, because it's not about us, it's about our child, building that relationship with them. So.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, anything else of this witness at this time?
No, yeah.
All right, Mr. Graham, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand, sir. Sir, you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're gonna give this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I only got one question. The mom just testified that you were getting your visits after the 10th of March on those Sundays. Is that correct, man? Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I've been getting my visits right now, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Does anyone have a question of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
There you are.
No, sir.
All right, guys. I'll listen to closing arguments and closing wishes at this time. And the judge is going to have to go back and listen to the last couple of hearings and double check some things, because, docket sheets are not detailed notes. So I'll have to check a couple of things, but I'm probably looking at taking this one under a quick advisement. But at this time, I'll go ahead and let everyone give me a closing and tell me what they're requesting I do here going forward as far as this case is concerned. I've already set up conservatorship and obviously visitation, and I know I may be asked for a change in that, but I want to get and we're already operating under a reduced amount of child support based on the travel factors that are involved in this case. So I'll go ahead and keep that in mind already, but I'll let everybody else make a closing statement at this time. And Miss Johnson, I'll save you for last. So I'm on I'll start with the Ad Litem, and then Mr. Tisdale, and then the state, and then Ms. Johnson. Thank you. Mr. Glass. I'll
Thank
start
you,
with
Your
sir. Thank you.
Judge, I think both these parents they're fine, they're suitable, they're protective. I don't believe that Ms. Johnson had to take the trip, the tour, the assignment to Germany. She admitted earlier that she extended in Korea voluntarily, and that then they used that to send her to Germany. She would have been in Korea anyway had they not have sent her to Germany. because she volunteered to extend. That bothers me. It also bothers me with her with the lack of visitation. I think that's incredibly important in this case, and it's so easy to just say, well, I forgot. I didn't know that the babysitter didn't have this app. She had a German phone. She had. I don't believe any of that. I think that I don't have any problems with either parent, but it really bothers me when I see a child being used to get back at the other parent. And there's some things here that I just don't believe Ms. Johnson and parts of her testimony, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ad Litem. All right, closing statement, Mr. Tisdale.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Judge. Mom defaulted. It's mom's responsibility to make sure that her address and her email and all of that is working. I would agree with the ad litem that I don't believe her that the Army made her do 2 overseas tours in a row. I don't think that's true. They don't do that. And the fact that she's basically kept this 3-year-old now child from my client basically his entire life since this kid was 1 month old. She violated the standing order by leaving the jurisdiction of the court in the first place. My client, we had to hunt her down. Finally found her in Korea. And so I think that if mom is given custody of this kid, she's never going to let dad have this kid. Even during the pendency of this suit, this kid went for 5 weeks without seeing his dad. And it was only, I think once mom realized the child support had stopped because it's been 2 months, that all of a sudden she said, oh, okay, I'll let the dad talk to the kid again. I think that's where that came from, Judge. And so I think that even her own testimony has stated that this kid can be away from mom for extended periods of time. So I don't think changing custody is going to be an issue. This kid was with a random friend for over 30 days while she was on training. And so I think by putting him with dad, whom he knows, and both parties have testified that he does these electronic visits, and both parties have testified that those have been going well over the last few hearings. And so I don't see any reason why the court can't order that dad has custody of this child. I think that she defaulted, so I don't know that. I don't know if this is a final hearing, Judge, or a hearing to enter order, or what at this point. But we certainly ask that dad be
It's part of the final hearing, Mr. Tisdale. I specifically gave Mr. Glass the opportunity to get mom in here before we finalized anything.
Yes, Judge.
I got that written down. So this is technically still part of the hearing, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Judge. So we are asking that dad be appointed primary, have the exclusive rights to designate the child's residence without geographic restriction, order mom to pay child support. And we need to figure out logistically how to get child from mom to dad. In the alternative, if the court decides that it's going to leave the child with primary with mom, I think dad needs to certainly at this point have extended summers and some possession periods. The ad litem has testified or stated that there's no issues with dad and being protective of this kid. My client has custody of another child that he testified to in the prior hearing. And so he can certainly raise a child and take care of a child. And so if the court does say that mom should be primary and my client should just have possession, I do think that he should have the entirety of the summer, every spring break, most of the holidays, that sort of thing, so that he can get as much time with this child as possible.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Anything in closing, Mr. Welch?
Well, Your Honor, state's not going to take a position on,
Right.
efforts to get mom here.
Okay. Well, I do need to know how many. They said dad's already gotten 2 checks back. Is there any more? Obviously, I don't think he probably got back the 1st of May yet. If they've taken that out, so is there anything out there still in the system, Mr. Welch?
So there's nothing that we're currently holding.
Okay. So yeah, because I wouldn't think
well,
may have not shown up yet. So yeah. Okay.
But Your Honor, there is one thing. I mean, I can't say where it's from, Your Honor, because it's confidential. I can't say we are holding $85. But our obligation end date, Your Honor, was
Sorry.
February 28th, 2025. So our temporary orders tend to last up to
Okay.
2 years.
Okay.
That's just
I
how
was
it.
surprised by that because again, I've had temporary orders last a long time, and believe me, I would have heard something about that a lot sooner than. But every now and then somebody in the system does something different, but that's okay. But anything else in closing, sir?
No, Your Honor. I should note for the court though that the unless there's been something else, the temporary order reserves conservatorship, so it hasn't been.
Yeah, I know. I read that part.
And no, Your Honor. Just besides that, state does welcome final ruling.
All right, then, and ma'am, just for the purposes of us knowing everything, what is your current rank, please?
Sergeant, Your Honor.
Go ahead and get that as an E. I'm dealing with
E5, Your Honor.
people. All right, thank you. I know, but believe me, everybody out there doesn't know. And how many years have you been in the military, ma'am?
90 years, Your Honor.
9? Okay, thank you. You got that, Mr. Welch?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Johnson, I'll give you a chance. I already gave you an opportunity to say some stuff before. I do have one final question of both you and Mr. Graham. I know that's the way he pronounces that, not Graham. The one question I have of both of you is, no matter what the circumstances, we're looking at folks, transfer, pick up, drop off, no matter how it goes. I'm looking at both of you having to make trips halfway around the world, at least one way each time, no matter what the circumstances are going forward, to pick up and drop off this child. And I'm gonna, is that going to be a major problem for you, ma'am? Because
It is not, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Graham, is that going to be a problem for you, sir? If you gotta go pick your son up in Germany, I'll make mom come to pick a child up at any end of visitation or whatever, or at the beginning of visitation. Is that a problem for you, sir?
Oh, Your Honor.
All right. Again, y'all are where you are, and everybody, and you, sir. My understanding is from the last hearing, you requested extension and a why for your child to finish up school. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I did request extension.
Has
it
that been
got
granted or
kicked
not?
back. It got kicked back. I'm thinking about if I need to submit it again or just let it go. As of right now, I'm just thinking
Okay, so
about just
if
letting it
they
go.
kicked it, where would you end up going if you were not going to be in Hawaii? Where were they? Do you know where you're going to be sent, sir?
I don't know yet, but I wouldn't know. And I'll probably know closer to the end of the year, but I don't know yet as of right now.
It's not something that we'll find out in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks, right, sir?
No, probably next couple of months.
All right, but when is your stay supposed to end in Hawaii?
In August of 2026.
Okay, so wow, 2 years out. Okay, I mean a year out. I'm sorry, we're in 2025 now. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Again, like I said earlier, I wanted the opportunity to go back and listen to some the last hearing and the hearing before that, and go over my notes again. I'm going to go ahead, and nobody has to show up for this. Let's see. The day is the 6th. Let me look at that. Yeah, the calendar's on Zoom, not on my real calendar. So tomorrow's a live docket. Let's see, next week. The next Zoom docket is okay. Well, I'm not showing anything next. Okay, that's I'm not showing anything next Tuesday. Is there a reason there's not nothing on Zoom for next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, that's Coryell. Okay, that's the Coryell live. Okay, I keep forgetting about that. I got a live docket in Coryell. That normally would have been the Bell County date. All right, just so we wouldn't fall through the cracks, folks, I'm going to go ahead and reset this matter for the 15th for a final ruling on this. I'm going to figure out how to tweak it because I got to tweak Germany and Hawaii. Never did that one before.
Your Honor, I have something to say.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
So the Army has a program through Space A where we get free flights from our duty station to wherever we're going. So we are able to get free flights. So through Rob, from Mr. Graham's standpoint, he has to travel 4 hours from Hawaii to Rob Air Base, from Rob Air Base to over here in Germany, and that is free. Only thing he would have to pay for is hotel. And same with me going back the other way.
All right then, ma'am. And so he would have to pay to go to that original drop off point, we'll call it the hub. You know, but he would have to pay to get to that, correct?
Pay to get to where, Your Honor?
You said he has to fly 4 hours
Rob,
to get the free flight.
no, so from where he's at to Rob Air Base is free. From Rob Air Base to Germany is free.
Okay,
And
well, again, but leaving with the child, he would have to do commercial, correct?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Once he got the child, he would have to do a commercial airline.
He will not, Your Honor. Long as he have the the court paperwork, he is fine, Your Honor. If they ever say anything, but they share the same name. So
I don't worry about the expense of it. I just worry about who's got to do it. And if both of y'all can do it for free, great. If both of you cost you money, then it is what it is. All right, thank you. Anything else you want to tell the court at this time, ma'am?
yes. So, one thing with me, I won't keep my son from his dad. So the only reason why we're even here is because I submitted the child support paperwork, and they even told me, are you sure? Because this will turn into a custody. I said, yes, I'm sure. So it's not anything about keeping him away, because if it was that, he didn't sign any birth certificate, he didn't sign the acknowledgement. I put myself in this position where to make sure that not only is he able to help out, he's able to see his son. So there's no keeping him away and all that kind of stuff. Life still has to go on. And yes, we're doing the best we can. But like I said before, parenting plans and parenting classes is a must at this point.
All right then. Thank you very much. That'll be your question. I'll
Your
probably
Honor?
be looking at doing that. I hate online parenting classes. They are, online. Yeah, right. That's like taking analytical geometry online. Yeah, it's not going to work well out in the long run, but it is what it is. But I will be ordering that for both parties going forward. But I will make that part of the order, ma'am.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
I'm sorry.
Can I say something?
No, sir, you got a lawyer. She's her own lawyer. Sorry. All right, if your lawyer, again, I told her she's allowed to make a closing. Your attorney has made one. And if y'all want to, okay, wow, it's 1 o'clock already. If y'all want to get back in a room for a quick 5 minutes, Mr. Tisdale, and come back and make a further closing, I'll do that, but I'll hold it open for another 5 minutes. Okay, sir? Because obviously your client has something else he wants the court to consider as far as making a decision. But for right now, I'm looking at taking this under advisement and on at the 9 o'clock docket next week on the 15th. If I haven't sent out a written ruling already, I will go ahead and make a ruling on the record. No one has to show up. No lawyers, no ad litems, no parties. I just need to go on the record and make the ruling, and y'all will get a copy of the or the oral ruling. Okay.
And Judge, I do just have one quick comment that probably needs to be ironed out is the amicus or ad litem's fees. I don't know if both of them are military.
I'm sorry. I normally don't order. I usually take care of that myself, unless it's just something that's so egregious that I'm gonna have to put the lady in jail for 60 days because visitation wasn't happening. Yeah, that ad litem she had to pay for. Okay, but otherwise, the ad litem's on me, Mr. Tisdale.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Judge.
Not a problem. Yeah, they're both in the military. I always waive costs for both military persons, and we'll do that. All right, then. Is there anything else then? Do you want the opportunity to talk to Mr. Graham before and come back for that last thing that he may want to bring up, sir?
Mr. Graham, do you want to step aside real quick and do a breakout room and just tell me what you're wanting to say?
Yeah, I'll just talk to you real quick.
Okay, just
All right,
a
I'll go off the
memory
record for
suggestion.
5 minutes and let y'all do that and come back in and we'll get that on the record also, just
All
to,
right.
yeah, just to satisfy him, because again, she did get to tell the court her side. All right,
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Ms. Johnson, hang around a few minutes while they speak and we're off the record for now. Thank you.
Mr. Welch, can you throw us my client and I in a breakout room
Mhm.
real quick? Thank you.
Okay, it appears Mr. Tisdale is back.
There's nothing further that we need to state to the court, Judge.
Oh, okay. All right, Ms. Johnson, do you hear that? There's nothing else that Mr. Graham's attorney wishes to bring before the court. Again, I'm resetting this till to the 15th for a final ruling after I look back over the notes and listen to the last couple of hearings, or at least the parts of them. Anyway, everybody's free to go, and I'll make that ruling and try to figure this one out. Thank you.
And Judge, you said that we were excused from attending that, correct?
Oh yeah, everybody's excused. Ad Litem, everybody but the Attorney General is going to be here, but we're not going to get it down and forward it out to you if necessary. Okay.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Thank y'all all. Okay, everybody's free to go. Thank you.
And Your Honor, so I do have the numbers if you would like for support if Ms. Johnson would pay it based off of her rank.
I'll tell you what, just go ahead and send that out in an email to everybody, to Belinda and to both lawyers, okay? And to Ms. Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Ms. Johnson, you're free to go. The state will send out your child support. And Mr. Welch, I know I'm operating under a reduced amount. Go ahead and send over what Dad would pay if it was in full and what Mom would pay if it was in full. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Only the mother is present, Your Honor, and she is in agreement with the state that we request an attorney to substitute in for Ms. McLean based on Mr. Hernandez still being active duty military, and then setting this cause an appropriate time out so we can get the modification and confirmation of arrears done.
And I know that both Kurt and who else is here? Well, I know Kurt's here today, and is he still here? And who else is still here? I'm sorry.
He is, Your Honor, along with Miss Garcia, and I think that's the only two whom you normally appoint. The rest are for hire.
Okay. All right, then. Let's go ahead and appoint Kurt on this one. All right,
Yes,
ma'am,
Your
I'm going to appoint Kurt Glass as the SDRA attorney. Apologies. When elections happen at the beginning of the year, people and new office holders come in, and people find new jobs, okay, that they didn't expect. So yeah. So I wish Ms. McLean all the best in the world over there, keeping Bell County safe from all those bad guys and bad ladies. But we'll go ahead and get Mr. Glass on this one. And man, where's he stationed? Do you know?
He's in Korea right now. But he's like I said last time, he's going to avoid. He never contacted Miss McLean. He told his family he would avoid anything. I actually got his social and his date of birth, and I gave it to Miss McLean, but then she told me she wasn't on the case anymore, and that's all she needed to start the process of taking payments.
Okay, well, we don't worry. He has not filed an answer. He hasn't filed we did get him started.
Yes.
Okay. Well, God,
He was served the day after I was served. I think it was in April of 2023.
Okay. All right, then. So, yeah, it looked like everybody was served back in 2023. When is Kurt going to be here next month? I'm going to go ahead and do a temporary order. He hasn't filed anything under the Service Members Relief Act. He's obviously not doing what he's supposed to do. So let's go ahead and at least do a temporary order and come up with temporary child support and start getting that coming from DFAS and see how he likes that. And maybe he'll show up. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. We have the prior orders in place, but we were understanding it to be an upward modification.
Right.
So yes, Your Honor. Looking at Mr. Kurt,
I got to give him 75 days notice if he did soldiers and members, Service Member Relief Act things, but he hasn't. But I always do that anyway because I don't want to run afoul of the federal law, and they say, "Well, I tried to and it didn't work," so I don't want to hear any excuses. So I do it automatically. But I know right now I can go ahead and do a temporary order and just give him technically give him 3 days notice. I'll give Kurt that time frame to try to locate him. But if he wants to play that game, then we'll play it right back. So.
Yes, Your Honor. And we've got Mr. Glass coming back on the 4th and the 25th. Every other day is a in-person one.
Let's do the 4th. That's exactly 1 month. Well, this is a short month this year. This one is, but that's good enough. That's still 28 days away. So we'll give him an opportunity to see if you can locate him and get him to do this. But yeah, we're gonna go and do it, and we'll let Kurt know that to let him know that I'm based on his behavior, I'm probably gonna go back to the date of service. So he's gonna be 2 years. He's gonna owe 2 years back child support right off the top. Okay, so if you want to play games, we can do it. So especially when it comes to not taking care of your kids in the manner that Texas law says you're supposed to. So again, ma'am, it's left up to me to make that decision how far back I go. But right now, I'll make myself a note and remind me. And if you want to go and that if you want to go all the way back to the month after date of service, I'll be looking at that. All right.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Mongat, let's go ahead and appoint Mr. Glass. He's already going to be here on the 4th of next month, ma'am. I'll reset that to that date. Now that's not the first Wednesday of the month, is it?
No, Your Honor, that's the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday. So yeah, it usually is only on leap year does that mess around. So yeah. All right, didn't think about that. All right then, ma'am. We're gonna reset this to next 4th of the next month. We'll give Mr. Glass the opportunity to see if he can get some contact with him. And tell him you really might want to show up, and maybe the judge will only give you 12 months of back child support. Okay, so yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right then. But anyway, like I say, his name is Kurt Glass, but he won't be contacting you. He'll be trying to work it out. He may contact you trying to get some information. So if he does do that, please provide it for him. And do you have any problem with him, with the state giving him your contact information?
Okay, I have his social and date of birth. I know Ms. McClain needed that. I gave it to
you mind Kurt contacting you to get any information that you might have?
Okay.
Yeah. In other words, the state needs your permission to let him have your phone number or your email address.
Okay, yes, that's fine.
Okay, good enough then. All right then, ma'am. Thank you very much, Ms. Martinez, and we'll see you next month in March. And hey, it's allowed to be 100 or it's allowed to be 32. So we'll see when it happens. Anyway,
Yes, sir,
thank you.
Mr. Black is Staff Sergeant Black. He's active duty. Miss Atha just confirmed it.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Here's the deal. There's a federal statute out there. Used to be called Soldiers and Sailors, but now it's called Service Members Relief Act because we got Air Force people, we got sailors, we got soldiers, and we got obviously we got both male and female people who served in the military. So at this time, under that federal statute, he has not filed an answer. He has not done anything as per invoking that, but it's the court's. You can't not do a final default on him without giving him so many days or so many months advance notice to be in compliance with that federal statute. And what I normally do is go ahead and appoint an attorney ad litem to advise them that, hey, you got this matter down here in Texas, and the judge is getting ready to order you to pay child support, and more than likely based on what your rank is. And I usually use the BAH in Fort Hood, even though I don't think the one in Mississippi is probably going to be pretty darn close to what Fort Hood is as part of the figuring of his child support amount. But again, at this point, it looks like I do go ahead and appoint a service member ad litem. And at this time, Mr. Diamond, I think since he's in, ma'am, what city you live in?
I live in Killeen.
You live in Killeen? Okay.
Yes, sir, Judge.
All right then. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and appoint Mr. Maldonado Perez as the ad litem for the father in this matter. Does the state wish to go ahead and proceed with any type of temporary order at this time? Because again, he hasn't invoked Service Members Relief Act, so technically we can do something if you want to, especially as a temp.
I would love to, Your Honor. May I check and see if Miss Atha can be available to testify?
Okay. All right, Ms. Giddens, the state's going to go ahead and try to find their CSO to see if she can get the data on the father to show what his rank and how many years in the military and what he's getting as far as his base pay and his BH, where we can come up with at least a temporary order while we're waiting for giving him proper notice for a final hearing on this matter. So I just went ahead and appointed him a lawyer like I'm supposed to. But I'm gonna go ahead and go off the record for a moment and allow the state to see if they can get the CSO in here. We can get a temporary order going.
Actually, I'm begging your pardon, Your Honor. So she did a wage investigation. I just need her to log on, but it may be a few minutes. So if maybe the court would let me proceed with Miss Giddens and I can see about getting Miss Atha here.
All right, let's go ahead and get that part done, and then once Miss Atha gets in, we can get her in here and testify to what she's found. All right. So
yes, Your Honor.
Miss Giddens, please raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, you're officially on the oath, and I'll go ahead and allow the state to proceed. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it. And Ms. Giddens, I'm sorry that some of these questions I've not asked you previously, but we'll try to get through this and hopefully we'll be able to get the child support started today. So what are the names of your daughters?
Nalika and Nalisa Giddens.
Okay, and who is their father?
Banel Black. Sorry, I call him something different.
Okay, is there any doubt about Mr. Black being their father?
No, because he runs from it every time I try.
Okay. And without getting too personal, Your Honor, I don't know that we filed this as a long arm case.
Okay. Oh Lord. All right, let me see what you did.
Well, if I could just ask the questions and I guess. So, Ms. Giddens, I don't mean to get too personal, but were your daughters conceived here in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
Was he stationed at what was then Fort Hood then, ma'am? Was it Fort Hood then?
Yes, it was still
Okay,
Fort Hood at that time.
Okay, so yeah, okay, thank you.
All right. So, what type of relationship does Mr. Black have with his daughters?
None at all. He refuses.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So has he actually seen them since they've been born?
He's seen them one time. So he moved to Mississippi 2 days before they were born. He came down Easter of last year. That weekend he came. I was trying to get him to do a DNA test at a lab. He wouldn't. He brought a home DNA test. He came when they were sleeping. He didn't hold them. He didn't touch them. First thing in the morning when they woke up, we swabbed one of the twins' mouth because he only brought one test, and his. We sent it off to the lab for the Walgreens test was done, and they said that his swab did not have DNA on it and that he needed to redo it, and then he would never redo it. And that's the only time he's ever briefly seen them. And it was when they were sleeping one night, Easter weekend last year.
Okay. Do you have any safety concerns with Mr. Black?
So I'm not sure that there still is with him not living here, and it's been so many years because I filed in 2023. But when we split up, I found out I was pregnant 7 days later, but we split up because he was messing with somebody else who was violent towards him in the past, pulled a gun on him before. She was threatening me, and he didn't want me to put child support on him, so he just let me know like that I was going to regret it if I did. So I was definitely afraid, but I think it's been so long, I think we've moved past that. And with him no longer living in Texas, I think he doesn't really I don't think he has much of a relationship with this woman who was here who was threatening me, which I don't even know her real name. But I would like to think, because it's been so long and that he's no longer here, that maybe there's not a safety issue anymore, but he's threatened me in the past, so I can't say for sure.
Okay. Has he ever been, so obviously words matter. Has he been
Right.
physically violent with,
He has not. He has not.
Okay. Okay. And so my request to the court is probably going to be that Mr. Black be ordered to put the children on his TRICARE. Do you have any objection to that?
No.
Okay, and I'm sorry that I'm probably surprising you with this, and we could maybe ask the court to reserve this one for the final, but as you heard the court speech, that typically he gives the children both parents' name. Do you have an objection to them having Mr. Black's name?
I would definitely prefer that they did not, because, you know, they're here with me and I would like their last name to be the same.
All right, here's the deal,
That's
man.
fine.
Under Texas law, it's considered to be in their best interest. So that it's not that I do this arbitrarily. The law is, y'all had these children together. They can
Right.
share your name together. Now, if this is
Okay.
going to into something a little bit nastier, I'll hold that until final hearing. And
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm probably going to go ahead because I know what's going to happen next. I'm going to go ahead and order mom to go ahead and get a state DNA test going up down here in Texas, because I
Okay.
know the first thing he's going to ask for, or have his lawyer ask for, is a DNA test.
DNA.
And we're gonna say we've already got our side done, and this time we're gonna get a real swap, sir. Okay,
Right.
you're gonna go into a testing facility that's gonna get it done. So yeah,
Right.
because that accidental thing, yeah, right. He accidentally didn't get any DNA on his swab. Yeah, right.
Right. Mhm.
Okay. All right, you may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
I think that's about what I have, other than, so Mr. And again, I'm sorry that I've not asked you this before, but Mr. Maldonado Perez is going to have to track down Mr. Black. I'm not going to be able to give his information to Mr. Maldonado Perez, but with your permission, may I give Mr. Maldonado Perez your contact info, because you might be able to assist Mr. Maldonado Perez in getting in touch with his client?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, again, I tell you what, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and change the ad litem. Let's go ahead and use Kurt on this one. I'm gonna get a farmer military person on this one, ma'am. He knows the ins and outs of working with the Army. He's Army retired as it is, and we do have an address on him where he was actually served in Hattiesburg. And obviously we'll send that information over to Mr. Glass. I'm gonna go ahead and point Mr. Glass on this one, and he'll have your permission to contact you also. I don't want to make this more difficult than it is for an attorney ad litem. So I want somebody that's used to having to track down people in the military, and Mr. Glass has been my go-to guy for years on that. So thank you.
Okay.
And actually, Your Honor, I think I can get this done without Miss Atha. May I share my screen? I'm going to call this States 1.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen then.
So, Your Honor, I'm showing the court what will be marked as States 1.
All right, go ahead and magnify that a little bit, because the judge, that's a little small print for the judge's eyesight. So,
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, a little fine for me too. Is that big enough, Your Honor?
that's fine. All right, okay, and the information has been redacted enough. So
So I'd be using this to show the start date for calculating years of service. And I show a start date of November 10, 2010.
all right, and down to his rank. Okay.
And if
All right, so he's been in the United States military. What was that start date again, please? In 2010, the actual date.
I show, well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I offer States 1.
All right, Ms. Giddings, any objection to stakes exhibit number 1 coming in evidence at this time, ma'am?
No.
All right, stakes 1's admitted then, Mr. Diamond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And it shows November the 10th, 2010 as a start date.
All right, so he as of last November, he had been in 14 years. So that's it's always, the Army, the military always uses that the even years. So it would be 14 years, and I didn't see what his rank was on that information, sir.
I don't think that it has it, but her testimony was that he's an E6.
Yes.
Okay, he's an E6 for 14 years. So what's the base pay on that one then, sir?
Your Honor, if I could, maybe the court wouldn't mind maybe recessing this for a minute, and I can go track that down.
Okay.
Or if the court, I hate to keep the court waiting, but I can have this in a couple minutes.
The court has State's Exhibit number 1 has now been delivered to the court, and I've marked it as admitted as we did in the earlier part of this hearing. So, the state, the court did take judicial notice of the information that the father has been in the United States military 14 years as of November of last year. Anyway, at this time, I allow the state to proceed as far as what the state's requesting we do here and the proof up of what temporary child support should be at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I ask Ms. Giddens one more question?
Okay, Ms. Giddens, you're still under oath. You may, state may proceed with the questioning. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Giddens, is Mr. Black on child support for any other children?
Yes,
How many is he on child support for?
1.
And does he have any besides that child who live with him?
No.
Okay. So Ms. Giddens, the numbers I came up with, I show a staff sergeant with 14 years base pay as of 2025, $4,942.50. And I show a base housing allowance of $1,800. Do you have any objection to me asking the court to use those numbers?
I do not.
Okay. And then I actually, Your Honor, I think I'll pass a witness and I'll save my calcs for the closing.
All right. All right, then I'll go ahead and let you give the court the calculations that you're requesting we do here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I calculated gross of $6,742.50. I'm going to give him credit, or I'd ask the court to give him credit at $22 against the dental insurance that he'd be carrying. I think it's like 32. So, 2/3 of that rounded up, I believe it comes to 22. If I'm wrong, then please correct. So assuming I'm not wrong, I calculate a guideline child support amount of $1,332. So I'm requesting the court to use that and begin May the 1st of 2025.
And you're ordering the court to order the father to put the child on TRICARE, is that correct?
That's the request, Your Honor.
All right.
And I'm looking for return dates for Mr. Glass.
Yeah, they're running together in my head. And did I order DNA testing in this case already?
You did, Your Honor.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was this one, not the one of the others. So,
Your Honor.
And we're looking at a multi-state circumstance also. So we're probably looking at something at least about 90 days out for Mr. Glass too. So,
Your Honor, it looks like we have a docket on July the 1st. I think that's the furthest one out, other than I think we have one in December. Well, there's July the 1st, and then there's the San Saba on July the 18th.
okay, we're good. The first is good.
Yes, Your Honor.
90 days out, and with the Ad Litem telling his client that you need to take the DNA test. Once I get a lawyer, it's a little easier. On this cases without lawyers, they get a little suspect. So
yes,
anyway,
Your Honor.
and order the DNA testing. Let Mr. Glass know. Court already set that up, and we're going to go ahead and run mom and the kids here in Texas. And I got to remember this is the one with the twins.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we got kids. So
and I guess there's
go ahead.
Well, no, I think the court's there.
All right, so we're looking at going ahead and order temporary child support this time of $1,332. I'm going to start that the first day of May 2025. I'm going to go ahead and first off, I'm going. Well, I'm sorry. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and find paternity. Like I said, Dad has not filed an answer. He's not done anything that he needs to do to change that around. So I'm going to go ahead and find paternity based on the mother's testimony. I'm going to go ahead and order the mother's name. I'm going to name the mother as sole managed conservative right now. I'm going to name the dad possessory, but I'm going to reserve all rights of possessory conservatorship and the right to actually change that to a joint management once we get something from Dad showing what's he requesting the court to do, and of course, hopefully the attorney, the SDRA attorney Ad Litem that I've appointed, Mr. Kurt Glass, will get that information to the court. I'll go ahead and order that But until then, like I said, don't give him any rights to possess a conservatorship under the at this time. The mother's testimony shown that he has only had contact with the children once, and that was to get that DNA test that turned out to not be valid. And and he has no contact with either of his daughters since then. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reserve any and all rights, visitation, and so forth and so on until the next hearing, or to a final hearing in this matter. I'll also go ahead and, like I said, order him to start paying the child support and start maintaining dental and health insurance through TRICARE. Once he comes back and gives us the full math on that, we can recalculate or base that on updated information instead of just the general information the court has at its disposal at this time. It's a little early, but I'll go ahead and waive court costs again, do military service. You can go ahead and put that in there at this time, Mr. Diamond. That way it won't have to come up again. And we're going to go ahead and do a reset date to July 1. Is there anything else I specifically need to rule on, Mr. Diamond?
Just for the sake of the record, I take it the court is reserving the name change and retroactive child support?
Yes, we'll reserve that till we get back and get that taken care of. We'll go ahead and start the current child support.
Okay, and
Daddy entering a default. Or in the default against the father.
Yes, Your Honor. And it sounds like the court is not ordering non-disclosure based on the testimony.
I'm going to go ahead and grant non-disclosure for now also.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting this mixed up. Did the mom ask for non-disclosure on this one?
I was the one pushing the issue. Her testimony was that he had a crazy girlfriend that she was worried about her, that they're not together anymore.
Okay. All right. I'm going to grant non-disclosure till further order, just to be on, just to make sure that there's nothing amiss here. And
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll tell you what. I've given Dad an SARA attorney. I'm going to go ahead and give the kids an Ad Litem too, because I want to give Dad as many parental rights as possible. But again, if he's not going to be Dad, if he's going to leave this totally up to Mom, we'll try to figure that out. But the bottom line is, I'm going to go ahead and point an Ad Litem for them, and that way hopefully that Ad Litem can figure out what's in the best interest of these two little girls going forward also. So and let's not leave it out there. So let's go ahead and let's point this back as the attorney Ad Litem for the two little girls in this case. Is that okay? I'm sorry. The 1st of July. What day is that on?
I believe it's a Tuesday, Your Honor.
All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Kuzak's not available on Tuesday, so let's go with Ms. Garcia.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. I'm just giving the children a lawyer also, just to see what rights that they think. I want somebody that's a little bit more neutral than the state and myself on this one, to do an investigation and to actually go out and investigate to see whether or not Dad wants to have these children as part of his life one way or the other. He's going to be financially responsible. And like I say, people change their minds over the lifetime of their children. The judges thing, the thing I always say, it's too late for Dad to become a part of their life when they're holding that Wimbledon trophy over their head and they're adults. Okay, so that it's too late to say that's my girl. All right, but for now, let's see if Dad wants to have something to do with them, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and appoint them a lawyer to make sure that any rights that Dad gets are appropriate going forward, and can deal with the long distance circumstances of dealing with someone who's in the United States military and is well, hundreds of miles away. My dad was unfortunately was always stationed out of Fort Bragg, and we live here in Texas. So yeah, that was a problem, but still, we will see about working through those problems and getting that set up, ma'am. So again, that attorney Ad Litem is named Carmen Garcia, and I'll also need your permission to have the state give her your personal information, your information as far as your phone number and your mailing addresses, or email address is concerned, so she can contact you about meeting with you and her clients, even though they're still babies. She still might want to meet with y'all. Okay.
Yes, sir, Judge.
Is it okay for the state to give her your contact information, ma'am?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Diamond, anything else, sir?
Just if I can have a few minutes of Miss Giddens' time in the breakout room when the court is through with us.
Okay, well, I'm done. So, Ms. Giddens, the state wants to have you in the breakout room for a few minutes to run this order by you, and we'll reconvene if necessary. Everybody's got a lawyer, and the lawyers know how to get back into court earlier if necessary. But right now, I plan on reconvening on the first day of July, and by then, like I said, it's going to be about 30 to 40 degrees hotter outside than it is today. So let's rock and roll for Texas with the Texas summer. Then, all right.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so we're off the record, and Mr. Diamond, anything else, sir?
No, that's it, Your Honor. Thank you for bearing with me today. I'll try to have my ducks more lined up the next time.
All right, well, no, we're all trying to getting this done so the judge can get out of here for his appointment. For right now, like I say, we're off the record, and I'll stop the recording.